Welcome to the GAMERamble video review for Sound of Drop Fall into Poison, narrated by me, Darkcloud. As always, the full text version of this review can be found on the GAMERamble website, linked below. The TLDR for Sound of Drop is that it offers a captivating horror-themed experience that is worlds away from the typical romance visual novels on Steam. Although it contains some blood and gore, most of the really gruesome scenes are left to the imagination instead of depicted visually. The multitude of endings add to the replay value, and there are even some great new additions compared to the original Japanese version of the game. Gameplay receives a 9 out of 10. The story is absorbing and features plenty of choices. Graphics receives a 9 out of 10. The game features excellent character designs and beautiful backgrounds. Sound receives an 8 out of 10. While the game lacks speech, the music and sound effects are great. The overall score for Sound of Drop Fall into Poison is 8.7 out of 10. And now for the full review. Hospitals, schools, hotels and amusement parks. When thinking about locations with the potential to be creepy and haunted, these are the ones that usually spring to mind. Now, thanks to Sound of Drop, aquariums can be added to the list. The story of this visual novel centers around the Manton Aquarium in Tokyo, where, according to urban legends, strange things happen during the full moon. The stories of water turning into blood and fishes with human faces prove too enticing for a girl named Himeno to ignore. Thus, she talks her friend Mayu into accompanying her to the aquarium to investigate. On the other hand, Mayu is less than eager to go to the aquarium due to a family tragedy that occurred there 5 years earlier. Still, unwilling to disappoint her friend, she finally agrees to make the trip. Sound of Drop is viewed from the perspective of Mayu, and while things start normal enough, it's not long before everything goes very pear-shaped. We don't want to give away too much about the story, but suffice it to say the urban legends turns out to be true, and if anything, the aquarium is even more sinister than the rumor suggests. Chasing after a phantom from her past, Mayu finds herself lost and alone in the aquarium, and it's up to the players to assist her in getting out alive again. This is no easy feat because the game has more than 30 endings, only 4 of which don't involve a brutal death. It's not uncommon for visual novels to lose certain elements when brought to the English market, but Sound of Drop bucks this trend by actually improving on the original and adding extra content. It features updated visuals and benefits from brand new scenarios that flesh out the characters. The developers even managed to introduce a brand new character to the story, and there are 2 new true end scenarios for players to discover. Although Sound of Drop is not a very long visual novel, the story is engaging and well written, ensuring players will stick with it right to the end. Some routes and endings only become available after reaching one of the true endings, and it also features plenty of replay value, so it's definitely a VN that requires multiple playthroughs to experience everything it has to offer. Visually, the game is a treat with great character designs and some beautiful backgrounds. The Manton Aquarium is a fresh and original location that ensures plenty of variety despite its relatively small size. Unfortunately, the characters are not animated but appear more dynamic than they are thanks to changing facial expressions and sprite placement. As Sound of Drop is a horror title, there are plenty of scenarios involving blood or gore, but these are primarily described in text instead of explicitly shown. Depending on how good your imagination is, this can be considered either good or bad, but the developers definitely came up with some very creative ways to kill characters. Some of the bad endings are only slight variations of the other, but 27 is still an impressive number and the game doesn't pull any punches. Bad choices are usually punished immediately, but the game can be saved anytime, and some lovely chibi artwork of your dead character softens the blow. Unfortunately, Sound of Drop does not feature any speech, but makes up for it with great sound effects and genuinely creepy music. The soundtrack is light-hearted in places where it's called for, making the darker songs sound even more sinister. The controls are about what you would expect from a visual novel, and the text is advanced with a left click or a tap of the spacebar. There is a lot of reading to be done, but as we mentioned earlier, the dialogue is well written and very captivating. Unlike many visual novels on Steam, the focus is not on romance, but survival, which might make it more appealing to players who are not usually fans of the genre. It's certainly not for the squeamish though, and you'll never look at an aquarium in quite the same light again after this game. Overall, Sound of Drop was one of our favorite visual novels of 2015. It's an excellent example of how to make a title that's already good even better when bringing it to Western audiences. It's not a game for people who don't enjoy reading, but everyone who loves horror will enjoy it. Thanks for joining me for this Sound of Drop Fall into Poison PC review. Remember to like, subscribe and share. Until next time.